Hello, friends. Kitty here, and I wanted to talk to you today about the Skibidi Toilet Multiverse. Just kidding. Actually, we're going to talk about concealed carry purses. Don't worry. Lately, life's been pretty good. I realize I haven't been putting out nearly as much content in a while as I was doing there for a bit. Life's just been busy. Things are good though. I married the waifu, as many of you know. The Discord server is going super great. There's lots of cutes in there, lots of people being helpful and constructive and positive with one another. It's been a great time. It's kind of like a little group therapy sesh, and I've just kind of been taking the time to refocus my efforts and what I really want to talk about, what I'm bringing to the used tubes that's any different or unique from all the other plethora of content out there. But wanted to at least, sit down and kind of refocus myself, recenter my chi. And here we are. So yeah, don't worry. I keep planning to make more videos. I always have tons of stuff in my head that I want to do, and just not enough time to always get to everything. But I'm out there. I'm always on Instagram or on that Discord server, the Rainbow Rangers server. If you're ever curious what I'm up to or what the cutes in my life are up to, and that's pretty much what's up. But now on to today's topic: concealed carry purses. So, us lady folk are particularly blessed in the world of concealed carry because we just have so many options and choices when it comes to ways we can carry a gun securely and be not noticed. I'd say the Filster Enigma is probably one of the more popular choices out there as far as on body carry. People widely consider on body carry to be the most secure, and for a lot of reasons, that makes sense. Naturally, the closer it is to your body, whether it's inside your belt or literally on you, it's gonna be harder for people to notice that as well as take it from you, which is probably the most important aspect, one of them when it comes to concealed carry. And so for a lot of those reasons, people have shied away from using purses or discouraged their use. Well, I am here today to make the case in defense of purposes. Because just for my lifestyle and who I am, having it necessarily like directly on my body isn't always the most ideal option. So, like, for example, say you're interacting with family or a date or something, like folks who aren't typically around guns or familiar with them. Say you go to give them a hug or something, or you're hanging out and they notice that you have it just chilling there in your waist belt or whatever. They might be uneasy or uncomfortable with that. Especially some folks in my friend circle or whatever are more comfortable with guns than others. I mean, especially us in the LGBTQ community would probably know there's some that are fun with guns and some aren't. So there's like this aspect, as well as say working in a secure building where there's pretty much zero chance that anyone could ever get to where I am just running around with a gun and no one would notice. So it's like me sitting at my desk all day with my gun in my appendix, like, is certainly secure, but it's not exactly comfortable, and it not exactly necessary. There's the odds of someone just like running up behind me, blazing. It just seems like so preposterously I impossible that it just kind of. I feel like the added security of having it in my appendix is sort of pointless when I could just have it right next to me, grab it and use it as needed. So, my lifestyle, I'm not really around a bunch of strangers. I don't really spend a lot of time going out to bars or, you know, just like at festivals or concerts. I don't tend to do the whole mass gathering thing. So for my lifestyle, having a purse that is very secure, very close to me, that I can just kind of set over here, not out of sight, but just not necessarily always on my body, is it's just kind of a nice thing. I enjoy it a lot, as much as I have carried on my belt and such, and I have various clothes for carrying on my body. The purse is my go-to day to day, whether it's, doing total normie life stuff, uh, and just not sticking out, looking like might have a gun printing, or even just imagine like wearing a dress and you gotta carry or draw your on body holster, so you gotta lift your dress effectively to get to your gun, or like remove it partially. That's It seems less than ideal when I have a close fitting bag that I just be like whoop. So to each their own. I totally understand the arguments for on body carry, and I still think for a lot of folks this is going to be uh, a really good choice, especially in high risk kind of environments. But for the moms out there, the parents, the people who just pretty much go to their 9 to 5 in wherever, and that's it, a purse might very well be a good choice for you. And let me kind of go into some details as to why. What makes a purse actually useful or worth having? So when it comes to purses, a lot of ladies will wear like those little shoulder bags and stuff like this. But for a ideal concealed carry purse, one thing I'm looking for the most often is a crossbody style bag. And so it would go over the body like so. And what that does for you is that makes it more stable on the body. It fits closer to the body. It's not going to jiggle around as much when you're moving. It's not quite so loose fitting on the body. And the straps, uh, because of the way the cross nature of it, it's gonna be harder for someone to steal this from you, to take it off your body without it being attached to you in some way. So for a lot of reasons, I think the crossbody style is ideal. Although there are some, like this tote here, that is both a crossbody style bag with the tote handles. So that's kind of cool. But I look for crossbody and then something with adequate straps. You want things with strong straps, thick straps that are going to be hard to break and hard to separate from the bag. Because one thing that's pretty common for like purse snatchers to try to do is to take seatbelt cutters or knife or some kind of thing and to try to quickly uh, cut the strap from a purse and then run off with the body of the purse. One advantage of the tote is that hey, you have an alternate straps here to kind of grab onto in case of that. But something super thick that's very well connected to the purse, it's going to be a lot harder to just yoink off. And I definitely highly recommend you look into a quality strap to your concealed carry purse. And then next, you're going to want a purse that fits your gun. So a lot of concealed carry purses are designed with like special compartments in them that will hold uh, the pistol itself and keep it separate from the main compartment. On this purse, for example, you have this pocket right here. So you're gonna want to make sure that your purse, obviously, whatever that compartment is, ideally fits your gun. Now, as you can see in my case here, uh, that's not always super easy. I have a compensator here, a light, and the red dot, which is becoming an increasingly popular setup, the roll-in special kind of deal. Um, but so, what do you do in this case, where maybe your gun doesn't fit so easily in these pockets? Well, I do have a workaround for this. Something that I have practiced and learned to do. So for my workaround, if you already have a custom belt holster for your unusually shaped or large gun, and it fits in that just fine, then what you can do is if you look for a purse that has inner pockets that are fairly rigid, and specifically if it has one of these leather tabs here. So in that pocket, you can actually attach the uh, the holster right to that point there, that leather tab, and that will keep it secure as you draw it, and hopefully give you enough space to still close and secure the purse. So people aren't just able to see you have a handgun chilling right there. So I have it secured right there, and I can just pull it out. It'll still zip closed and doesn't totally get in the way, but that draw is a little bit more natural because it's vertical than as opposed to if you're trying to draw out of these side pockets here. I've practiced this a lot. And it can be kind of awkward when you have like the purse on your body to stick your hand in this down pocket here on the side and then pull it out like that. Especially if you have a light, it might trigger the light. Um, it's a lot of things can happen when you're trying to do that. Whereas if you're in this compartment here, it's just a clean, easy boom. And I like that. So it kind of depends on the situation and the environment. But even with this attached to the inner pocket there like that, let's see if I can get a good image. Um, Even with that set up, I can fit my wallet, tourniquet. You might have seen my tourniquet in there, mace, keys, like all my life stuff, stuff I need for work and things. I can all carry in there as well, and pretty much no one be aware that there's a gun in there as well. And that's kind of the idea of concealed carry. So I highly recommend if you have like an unusually shaped gun, or yeah, with like the compensator and all the doodads like I do, and you're just really having a hard time finding a concealed carry purse that fits it. By all means, if you have your holster, try finding a purse that it will fit into and work with, and practice with it. Definitely practice is what's important there, and how I kind of found out what works and what doesn't so good. Um, and I'll discuss that a little bit more here in a bit. But yeah, it took a lot of trial and error to kind of figure out what things are super fast and easy, and just like the point is to be fast and easy, as opposed to take the more steps you got to do to try to get it secure or get it out. Like it's just not worth it. Under stress, it's going to be way harder to do, and you want it to be as fast and easy as possible. So, with all that explained, what are some good examples of purses that meet most or all of these kind of criteria that we have? Well, for starters, my very first purse that I was running around for this purpose was a Fox Cargo bag. I got at my local milsurp store for like $20. And this thing opens up. It's got interior pockets. It's really freaking huge. It even has like a kind of like a magazine pouch thing. The way it lays across the body in the shape, in a crossbody style, is very comfortable and awesome. Stays very it stays pretty stable. Though over time, kind of one thing I wasn't a huge fan of with it is it is very floppy. So even though the it fits on my body pretty tight and the straps are really nice, it's if you're running or moving pretty quick, it has a tendency to be a little like kind of floppy on there. And like the there's no rigid pockets for the holster, so there can be a tendency for your gun to slide, sort of, in transit, which might be less than ideal. And then I feel like this is still a little tactical looking, so to speak. One of the advantages of wearing a purse is the fact that you just look like anybody else. And wearing one of these, I feel like you stand out maybe a little bit. Depends where you live. I think around here it's kind of normal, but maybe wherever you are that might be less less of a good option. So, where do we kind of find this balance between the traditional purse and the concealed carry purse? And there are answers. So this first one I have here is from Jessie and James, which like they sell a whole bunch of stuff here locally, but I know kind of all over the country. And these are pretty. They have lots of different, more traditional styles, all kinds of different bag styles and things. I went with, of course, a crossbody version. I took the strap off, but it it's just another thick strap that goes across the body. And this thing was pretty great. It's got this is the compartment here for the handgun. There's actually hook and loop uh, panel kind of in this interior here. So I don't know if you can see it that well, but I attached a universal modular holster in there onto the backing, and I can actually keep the pistol in that holster, and that will keep it from jostling around in that bag at all, and make it pretty consistent for drawing. And this purse worked pretty great for a while. I would say it's got a bunch of pockets, and it does have the interior pockets. It does have a leather tab there that I can use for my little holster trick. But you'll notice these pockets are a little flimsy, the interior pockets, which was a bit of a problem. Because again, same problem with that Fox bag. It's like I had the holster on there, and I could draw it and I could pull it and do what I wanted. But sometimes over the course of a day, it would get kind of loosey goosey or flop around or fold over. It just like it wasn't perfect, mostly because I just have a egregious and ridiculous gun. If you have more of like a basic lock situation, that's probably not going to be as much of an issue. Um, but it did fit in this pocket, which is kind of impressive. Uh, it's pretty roomy for at least the handgun compartment. So I gotta hand it to him. I like this purse overall. You can tell I took it out a bunch and it's not like scuffed up a whole lot. So Jesse and James did pretty good for the price point on theirs. And this last one I have here is from our friends at Montana West. So special shout out to Montana West because they actually reached out to me and sent me a couple purses to test out and give them some feedback on. Wasn't sponsored deal or like I don't care about money that much, and like I'm happy to help people test things for sure. I enjoy doing that. So I just gave them my notes and said I'd do a little video maybe if discussing the subject. But like, heck yeah, these things are pretty cool, and I've enjoyed this one so far. This has been kind of replaced all my other purses and what I carry around most of the time now. And Waifu's has been working out great for her. We both have crossbody style ones. They have similar to Jesse and James. They do a lot of the more traditional purse styles, but I feel like they have a pretty huge range of uh like from very big to just like super cute and tiny little satchel bags to super deep. I forget the style, but it's like there's just a lot of different kind of depending on your taste. Because I feel like Waifu and I have very different sort of aesthetic tastes, and she found exactly what she wanted. So I thought that was pretty cool. They do a nice job on these designs. And then probably the thing I enjoy the most is the internal pockets, particularly on this tote, are pretty rigid and structured. And it allows me to do that holster deal basically problem free. Like, no more flopping around, no more you know, being ridiculous. It's like this is just an easy boom. It made the drawing process and like all that way easier. It can fit my this doesn't really fit my wallet and also well in a tourniquet. By the time you start trying to put everything in it, it gets a little bloated. This I can fit everything in and zip up, and it basically just go about my day. I have multiple my Leatherman and stuff in there too. It's pretty nice for the amount of space that I have. It's still a very secure feeling purse when I'm wearing it. I can draw super naturally and easily, probably way more than I ever could with like uh, under my shirt belt kind of thing. As much as I love appendix carry, it's like you still gotta. There's still actions to it, and that almost like boom. I appreciate that a lot. Uh, so I think you got to weigh your pros and cons. You got to do some shopping. You got to find what works for your gun, what works for your body, what works for your tastes and stuff. But I think the concealed carry purses are certainly a viable choice in this day and age. Um, there's even so I think I didn't bring this up, but something like on these Jessie and James purses, in the handgun compartment itself, there's even a lock. There's little keys that come with it that you can lock it with. So depending on your state laws, like as opposed to a holster, you can actually lock it into something. Um, and it depending on where you are and what you're doing, that might actually be preferred. So I feel like purses have a lot of utility. There's you got to carry ultimately you got to carry other stuff besides just your handgun. And I mean, you're going to be carrying around a purse or something anyway. Unless if you're an old an old lady like I am, you're probably not out scrapping with people in the street too often, or even really out in large gatherings. I feel like your handgun's pretty much the safest place for it to be is where you can draw it the safest, most naturally, and easiest. And I highly rate the purse for that one. Especially if you've worked on your setup, you know what you're doing, you got a good holster, you've practiced a bunch, you can get it really fast. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. So, if you're a lady like I am, that's just living life, wants to dabble in, maybe keeping your gun in your purse instead. Look into either we got Jesse and James or Montana West. The both brands were super consistent for me. And I'm sure there's probably others out there, but yeah, just don't be too shy to at least try it out and practice with it. Alrighty, friends. Well, thanks for joining me. I'll be putting out more stuff in the future. If otherwise, feel free to join us on the Discord and hang out, maybe. Alrighty, cutes. You have a great day. Always, as always, love you. Bye.